Hey, doing everyone? This is DJ Sanakori of the Taino Funhouse, aka Taino Radio. This is the first time. This is a very primary show for Taino Funhouse podcast, straight out of YouTube and all your friendly social media outlets. Hey, man, today we got a supersonic show. It's so powerful, you can't even hear the explosion. And guess what happened? I have a guest star straight out of somewhere in the world. I'll have her explain where. But this is DJ Sanacori, straight out of New York City, Lenny Lenape territory. Oh, I hear something. Hey, take it away, Natalie.
This is Natalie Huber Rodriguez. Homeland is the island of Cuba, traditional homeland of the Siboney Taino, but was growing up in Philadelphia area, traditional homeland of the Lenape, among various other tribes as well. But now I'm coming to you, believe it or not, from the traditional homeland of the Gaelic Scots and Celts, all the way up in Scotland, believe it or not.
Oh man, that's amazing, man. Scotland, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All the way
Well,
known as Alba to the native Scots. Uh, Good people up here. They jive very well with the natives.
I don't know, man. I may have to move out there because I didn't know Scotland had palm trees. Oh man, and a nice
Right,
beach.
right. Yeah, yeah. Not a lot of people don't know that. That's where the haggis
Oh
grows off
man.
of the.
Well, now I
In the
know.
Caribbean, it's coconuts. The haggis grows off these palm trees here.
Oh man,
uh,
that is great.
you try to make
You,
me feel like back home when I'm feeling homesick. This is what I do, right?
I know, man. For anyone that remembers the old Taino radio shows, I see. I would have put the Philadelphia song on, the Rocky song.
Yeah, the Rocky
Dun,
song. All right.
dun, dun,
Yeah, the
dun,
Eagles are
dun,
playing
dun,
this
dun, dun,
afternoon, so you know.
dun. Oh, word, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm a
Go
New York
birds.
Mets fan, and I'm a New York Mets fan. I think you're a Phillies fan. Are you a Phillies fan?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Phillies fan, but I know
Both,
we've been out, right? So.
both, both our hearts have been broken and kicked
Yeah,
around. I mean, you
yeah.
guys hung in there. I mean, you guys hung in there the whole year because the Mets were in first place, and then all of a sudden they crashed. The worst collapse in baseball history. It was
I
a slow
know, I
burn,
know. Yeah,
but
it was. I mean, you get used to the pain though. You're a true fan if you're
oh,
there through the pain.
New York Mets fan. It's incredible, man. But
Yeah.
hey, I think the Phillies and Mets will be fighting for next many years ahead. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Yep, just
Yeah,
gotta hang in.
gotta hang in there. Yeah, you guys do a great job. Recently I was in Philadelphia. What was it? Damn, now I forgot. Early in the year, I went to visit my cousin, my first cousin, who lives in Philly. I think it was the second time going to Philly, but it was interesting. The
Yeah, it's
layout of the city.
city
Uh
of brotherly love.
huh. I found the streets a little narrow. Like I don't know, it was like real narrow. Like to
Yeah, if
park
you're
the car.
especially if you're in old city and everything, yeah, that's well, driving in the city, that was your mistake.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, I don't drive in. I mean, I would try to avoid it if I could, but yeah, if you go in the
Oh
old
man.
city, especially because it's it's one of the oldest cities in America, where a lot of people say
Right.
where America was the concept of America we have now was born out of Philly, where the Constitution was written and everything. So a lot of those old streets are still like preserved that way. So yeah,
Oh
would not
wow.
want to drive or park
Wow, that's
there.
interesting, man. I know, right? Well, um,
Yeah, hope
I
you
believe
liked it
today.
though. I know people have
No,
varying opinions on Philly.
no, it was actually quiet. Like where I was, it was in the downtown Philly area, like the neighborhoods. Um, I was with the Boricua neighborhood. I get a lot of Boricua. I saw a lot of Boricua flags, Puerto Rican flags. So I'm like, oh damn,
Mhm.
that's cool. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was quiet.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, it was very quiet. So
That's surprising too. Must not have been a game day.
yeah, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not very quiet usually.
It, it was around March, so it wasn't that cold though.
All
But
right, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so listen, man, it's October 19th, 2025. Recently, October 13th here, we celebrated, well, I didn't celebrate, a lot of people did, Columbus Day. And
Yeah.
uh I don't know, do they celebrate Columbus Day in Scotland?
Nah, 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 nah. No. Nah, that's my mom said something similar. She's like, "Do they do Thanksgiving over in Scotland?" I'm like, "Hell no, they don't do Thanksgiving in Scotland." It's like say,
Wow.
they do 4th of July. No, they don't do any of that. But no, some people were celebrating Columbus Day, but as we know, some people were celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day, right? Because
Yeah.
despite the current government's best efforts, there are many communities and cities and states throughout the U.S. that are still rejecting Trump's attempt to try to, make it all Columbus Day collectively again, and maintaining that it is Indigenous Peoples Day. So I don't know about you, but that's what I was saying that day. I was saying Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, especially to my Native
Yeah.
brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's pretty intense how the politics, it all depends who's in power, but and now
It
especially
does, right?
it's Columbus, Christopher Colombo, he's a very interesting character because he fits a lot of the narratives for a lot of different peoples, positive and negative. So it's like he keeps
Mhm.
his memory, you figure you want people to forget him, right? But
Right, yeah.
he fits all these narratives, and wow, it's just we were at couple of your tribal members. We were at Columbus Circle for Indigenous Day remembrance. It was year 18,
Mhm.
and what we do is we remember the ancestors who were brutally killed, murdered, and
Mhm.
their descendants. So and also the African um people that came over and became slaves as well. So we honor them, we bring them to our prayer attentions, and it was fun this year because they were threatening this huge rainstorm, a northeasterner that never showed up. So,
Ah, did
but
someone do some prayers to Huracan or anything
I'm
and make
telling you,
sure like
man.
yeah.
Yes, we had
Some
Maritza, we had Gypsy, huh?
all right, yeah, all the oh, miss the homies.
Yeah, so they were there, and we had some other people. I didn't see boy. We had a good group. We had some people from Hagua. This one woman came, an indigenous. She was from Chile, native from Chile, and
Wow.
Quisqueya. So
Wow.
it was good. It was fun. Again, the sadness of
Yeah.
remembering the murders, and
Mhm.
also that anger. It's like a renewed anger to just what happened, atrocities. But hey, I don't know if
Exactly.
it's true, but I heard they did DNA on his bones, and he was actually Jewish. Have you heard about that?
I hadn't heard about that. I keep hearing, I mean, they come up with new things all the time. I feel like with Columbus. I mean, like you said, he's one of
Yeah,
those figures that fits all these different narratives and is always
yeah.
changing. I feel like in terms of like the public perception, and it's weird. I was just thinking the other day, like, because whenever I tell people I'm Taino or like I talk about the Taino, especially over
Mm-hmm.
here in the UK where they're less familiar, a lot of people don't know who our tribe is, right? Like a lot of people have never heard of us.
Right.
We're not like the bigger well-known groups like Cherokee, Navajo, Lakota or something. But like as soon as I
Oh,
say
okay.
we were the first people who encountered Columbus and to be called incorrectly Indians, then people go,
Yeah,
"Oh, so it's like we can't even tell our story without
yeah.
Columbus, it's like he's whether we like it or not, he's a part of that narrative and he is what people recognize when I try to give them context of who we are and explain who we are. As soon as I say that and they say, you know who Columbus is, right? You don't know the Taino, but you know who
Mm-hmm.
Columbus. Oh yeah, of course. And then they say, "Oh, right, okay." So, yeah, But in terms of
Hmm.
where he was actually from, I mean, I was always told he was Italian, even though he lived in Spain. Um, but
Mm.
the Jewish thing that I hadn't heard yet, and I mean it doesn't
Yeah.
shock me obviously, especially like there was a lot of particularly Sephardic Jews in the Italy and Spain area and the Iberian area. So, I mean, I'm not sure if he would want anybody to know that, but
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
that's
Recently, yeah, it is. Recently on Facebook, one of my Jewish friends was writing a list of all the accomplishments of Jewish leaders, of Jewish people, and in there was Columbus. I'm like, oh, damn, it's
you're
getting
like
around.
what?
No, but it's getting around. He was Jewish, so I was like, okay, that's proof right there.
All right, all
So,
right.
but so I think here in New York City, I think the Italian community needs to find a new hero. I think
I do. I
because
know. I agree. And it's
it,
like there's so
it's.
many great I'm like all the other great Italian artists and
Hmm.
Renaissance painters and inventors. I'm like
Yeah, man.
of all the
You
guys
got.
to rally behind and why?
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean, I
know
don't want to
why. I
say
think we're
was I
mhm.
why.
No, I was saying so back I think I mentioned this before. So it's funny, Columbus was really nobody of importance for a real long time, right? Like, he was just a
Wow.
kind of historical footnote. But then in 1828 it was Washington Irving, the famous American author who wrote Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and a lot of other great works, who came across
Oh, wow.
Columbus, and he knew the true story. He went, he really didn't. I mean, all he did was uh sail to the wrong place, get lost, and still think yeah, and thought he was in it, thought the world was like a million times smaller than it was, thought he was in India, committed
Yeah.
mass genocide. And then he was looking at that. He goes, that's not going to sell. That's not going to sell books. And he
Mhm.
wanted to sell books, so he's like, you know what? Let's adjust this a little. We'll change the story. We'll make it that he's a
Mhm.
hero. We'll make it that he was the only one who thought the Earth was round, which we also know wasn't true at the time. That was already common knowledge. We'll
Yeah.
make it that he discovered America and everything, and people
Mhm.
really latched onto that myth, especially in the 19th century when there was huge waves of Italian immigrants coming through, and unfortunately
Mhm.
they were facing a lot of discrimination, especially in New York, where big waves of them and
Mhm.
everything were coming through Ellis Island, and they wanted really to embed themselves or show that they were part of the American story and American history. So as soon as they got wind of that myth, that story of Columbus, and they said, hey, he's Italian. So we
Yeah.
technically, it was one of us who discovered America. So you guys, you better be cool with us, because we wouldn't be
I
here if it
know.
wasn't for us. So
I know, man. It's crazy. He's just well, I tell you one thing though, and it was October 12th, 19, hold on. 1492, right?
yep, yep.
This, wait, hold on. Let me change the date. December 25th, 1492. I was reading in his journal that when he first met our ancestors, and I believe it was oh my God, wait a minute, my memory. I believe it was in the Bahamas that he renamed El Salvador.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was Hispaniola was the
Yeah,
first island
no,
he actually stepped on, right, or set foot
that's
on.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It was the his so-called discovery was in the Bahamas. But check this out. When he saw our people interacted in his journal, he wrote he never met a more beautiful people,
That's
handsome,
right. Mhm.
pretty. The
Yep.
the language was enchanting. He says he never heard a language so sweet and always with a smile in their face when they
Mhm.
spoke.
Yep.
So sounds very Caribbean to me, right?
Yeah. Of course. I mean,
Yeah,
we are beautiful and amazing
yeah,
people. Everybody knows that, right?
exactly, man. Always with a smile, right? So here's the
Yeah.
thing. I I like that Columbus.
Yeah.
on
What happened
December
to that
25th.
guy?
What happened, right?
Right. No, I do remember reading that too. Like when he, like his first impressions talking about like, oh, they have this
Yeah.
beautiful long black hair and their skin and everything, all these really nice descriptions and everything, like you said.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe because it was Christmas, he was trying to be in the spirit of it. um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm wondering, and I'm thinking it was, you know, obviously when he first, we know when he was when he first arrived, our ancestors were very hospitable and everything to him, right? And very
Yeah.
very kind, very welcoming, again, very Caribbean, like we still are. Very
Mm-hmm.
welcoming, like this
Yeah.
is your home. Yeah, we treat you like we treat our own. And after being at sea for as long as he was, I mean, obviously that was must have been, you know, great for him and his men, right? You just
Mm-hmm.
spend weeks, months at sea, and now you're being uh taken in and treated so kindly and warmly by these people. And I'm sure they were kind of enchanted and enamored with it at first, based on the
Mm-hmm.
excerpts I've read as well. But sadly, I think what it came down to was ultimately he was there for gold, right? And for wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so at first he's like, yeah, okay, all this, you know, this hospitality is well and good, but I gotta
Mm-hmm.
I gotta report back to King and Queen of Spain. I need the gold. Where's that at? And
Yeah.
when it came out that they didn't have any, and then I think it was like, forget all the niceties we had before. That unfortunately, I think it was he started getting panicked and frustrated that he couldn't, you know, get this gold that he had promised the Spanish royals, because that's basically why he got the funding to go and do this was, I'm going to discover a new quicker way to Asia, you know, spices for the
Yeah.
spice trade, um,
Yep.
get that gold. So if he didn't, you know, he didn't meet his quota, he was going to be in trouble. And I think once he realized that, that's when things really started to take a nasty turn for the worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's next time we huddle together in this Taino Funhouse podcast, we'll go into details of a lot of the horrors that occur because I think it's
Mm,
important people really know that. And people who are not Taino, they need to know this too because this is where our anger comes from and our
absolutely.
trauma, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
but I
it's
just
like,
find it. Uh-huh.
yeah, just it's like for us, people don't realize like, oh, why are we like to see someone like that celebrated, um,
Hmm.
as Taino or any native really? You're like, you know,
Yeah.
it's common knowledge now. You think like of what happened, right? It's not a secret anymore. Everybody knows. Like
Yeah.
maybe back in the early days and everything when people didn't know the true story and everybody was just kind of knowing Washington Irving's version and just thinking, yeah, yeah, he's a guy,
Yeah.
heroic explorer. What else is there? But I feel like the truth's been out for some time now, right? So
Yeah.
just the idea that anybody doesn't understand our anger or our rejection of this
Hmm.
fictionalized, romanticized version of someone who is really just again another horrible genocidal figure of colonialism,
Oh man.
um, is I don't think there's any excuse anymore. Everybody knows, right? The facts are there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think in future shows we'll also talk about the intergenerational trauma that we carry in our
Hmm.
DNA, right? It's very important to
Yes,
discuss that as
absolutely,
well in a historical
absolutely.
context. Yeah, it's just sickening, but you know what? It's part of our history, and it's never going to go away. And a lot of people don't want these statues to go away, these Columbus statues. Um, so yeah, I believe these statues should not be destroyed, but put in a museum.
Agreed.
A museum of the Museum of Horrors. so
True, exactly. I
so
mean, it's like you can't erase what was happening, and that's not what we're trying to do, right? Like we're not trying to say
yeah,
let's just, you know, erase everything about it.
yeah,
These statues do have a place and context, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
the same as my brother-in-law just got back from Berlin and he was talking about, oh yeah, they have plenty of museums talking about like World War II and the
Mm-hmm.
Nazis, Hitler, and everything. He said they want to keep that dialogue going. They want
Yeah.
to remember and make sure we never forget, so that stuff like that doesn't happen again, right?
Yeah.
And they do. They have their place. Same with all the. I agree with the Civil War figures of, say, the Confederate Army and everything. All these
Yeah.
people that the South likes to, and Southerners like to rally around as like folk heroes and
Yeah.
national heroes too, right?
Yeah. You're right. Many moons ago, I remember meeting a priest. His name was Father Tokaz of the Franciscan Capuchins, and one of the reasons I met him was, I knew him through the religious order, Franciscans. But
Mm,
one thing I learned about him, he was one of the leading scholars in medieval history, and especially in the church, Roman Church,
mhm.
and he was considered like an expert on what do you call it, the intricacies of the culture of Europe,
All right.
and in Middle Ages. So he
Mhm.
had these weird stories that you don't read about in history, but it's more of a psychological psychology of the medieval person, in the Middle Ages. So and then we started talking about Columbus, right? High Middle Ages,
EJ
right?
always shows up, right, in every
Yep,
conversation.
yep,
Can't get rid of him, like we say.
yeah. Yeah. So very politely he told me, you gotta and I'd like to know your opinion on this. He says you gotta understand in a historical context, we cannot bring our values here in the present to a medieval time. And then he said something very interesting. Um he said that the medieval person during the time of Columbus, especially the leadership, they were very, very, very criminal.
Yeah.
And it was just the psychology at the time, when you want to gain power. It was, and he was naming all these stories of, poisonings and murders, just to maintain the power, and
Mhm.
and I'm like, so it was kind of depressing hearing these stories about how they would take each other out. And and he says Columbus was no different in his strategies to gain power. And I'm like, so his whole thing, historians will say, you can't really judge our lenses, our moral lenses now. So I said my response was, wait a minute, Padre, check this out. How come we weren't doing that? My people weren't doing that.
Yeah, right. As far as we know, anyway, I don't think nobody was poisoning anyone,
No,
right?
no, and they weren't looking. I mean, the only thing I could really honestly say is that, to be honest, right?
Right.
When you read these sources, and it could be lying too, right? That the caciques will steal each other's wives. If one cacique
Ah.
was more powerful than the other.
He took your wife. All right. I mean, I
Yeah.
like, again, our people were human, right? I think that was probably more
That's
like,
the thing.
yeah, yeah,
That's the thing.
exactly. You see one cacique and he's like, oh, maybe you have a thing for his wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's the
I
whole
mean,
sense of power. Yeah, the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
sense of
that
power.
too, which I get. I
Yeah.
mean, and again, like you got to remember, like uh people were human back then. Nobody was perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Exactly.
um, I mean, everybody always talks about, again, in the context. I've got some friends who are of Mexica and Maya descent and everything,
Hmm.
and people always say, "Oh, what about all the mass human sacrifices they did and this and that?" And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
it was. I said, okay, well, was still wasn't. I wouldn't think much worse than what Europeans were doing at the time. I mean, at least the way, in the context, again, if we look in the mind frame and the psychology and the context of the
Hmm.
time, particularly for those larger tribes who were living in these much larger, much larger than our people, right, these large city states
Right.
and highly stratified societies, that to them was the only way to ensure that they still had food, right, and that they had
Yeah.
rain and water and everything. They just was they
Hmm.
said, we don't enjoy doing this probably, but
Hmm.
hey, it has to be done. Needs must, right? The gods need
Yeah.
sacrifices and we need food and water. So
Yeah.
we gotta do it. It wasn't just because they just loved killing people and thought, had great fun with that. They weren't,
Hmm.
I don't think, any
Hmm.
more violent, malicious, or just like had a kind of just darker psychology than anybody else. To them it was
Hmm.
all very practical, right?
Yeah.
And like you
Well,
said, for power,
mhm.
well, for Europe, it was all about power, right? It was trying
Yeah.
to get power, whereas for like a lot of indigenous people back then, it was about survival, right? To them,
Hmm.
that was the only way to make sure the world kept spinning, more or less.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You know, it was interesting. I found when I was doing some research that when Columbus and his goon squad, when they went up to the Cibao Mountains
Mhm.
in Dominican Republic, they he saw so much gold there. You know, the jewelry, the wearing, so much gold, and that's when like that was the beginning of his obsession. Like, whoa!
Mhm.
But I found it interesting. He says, "Whoa, where did you get this? Where did you get this?" You know, and then oh wow, my memory. I believe it was Cacique Caunabo. He was saying, "Oh, that's that's useless.
Yeah.
That's like there's so much of it that it's something that's not really how can I put this? It doesn't have that much value.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like a common jewelry. It wasn't
Commodity.
super
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. I guess it was like custom jewelry, right? Now we will say.
Right.
So imagine they have so much gold, man, that was the beginning of the end right there with the
Mhm.
European influence. They said they got the obsession for gold. You
Yeah, and
know,
I think even that was like kind of a like because right, the cacique was probably just saying, "Oh, yeah, we've got plenty of that," in the sense that like because they
yeah,
weren't using it, they didn't really need it. It had no value to them.
yeah,
It only had value again because for some reason somebody somewhere decided one day in Europe or something,
hmm,
or wherever, that this shiny yellow metal was worth this much or what. Yeah, because it has, gold is quite soft. It's not a really good for making any kind of tools or anything. It's not, it
yeah,
has
right.
no value other than this arbitrary value that was assigned to it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so when he said, "Oh yeah, we've got plenty of that," it probably in Columbus's mind, that's probably thinking, "Oh, this place is like then lousy with gold and full of gold, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
pouring out of the hills," which wasn't true, as we all know. If we
Mm-hmm.
look at the geology of the Caribbean, I don't think there was a. It's not like there was more gold there than anywhere else. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but I think once in the way it was communicated to Columbus, like you said, he probably
Hmm.
then thought, "Oh, right, well now I've struck the jackpot, right? I gotta
Yeah,
find all
exactly.
these treasure troves everywhere of gold." And when he found there wasn't as much as he was hoping for, or that he thought there would
Mm-hmm.
be, like you said, I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the beginning of the end. That's when he started, you know, thinking, "Oh,
Terrible.
they must just, the natives must be hiding it, or not telling us where, and
Yeah.
or keeping it for themselves." When, like you said, it had no meaning to our ancestors, right? Had
Yeah.
no particular value to our ancestors. Like there were lots of other materials, like tobacco and everything was more valuable than gold.
Yeah. And I know we use gold, but we mixed it with copper to the
Mhm.
guanine,
Yeah,
the
very.
disc, the casillas.
Yeah,
So, we had to mix it, right? So,
yeah, because like you said, like I was saying, it's gold itself is not very durable or very useful in terms of anything other than being decorative, right?
yeah, that's the thing,
Yeah.
man. And yet, with the economy the way it is now in the world, 2025, I hear now people are buying gold now. They're going back to gold, which is
Yeah.
always, it never runs out of, for investments.
Yeah,
So,
never loses its value really. Sometimes it stops for a bit, but it's always back and forth, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Hey, check this out. We got a guest star. Hey, how you doing? He just showed up.
We do.
Yeah,
Who's that?
yeah. Wow. It took you a while. He's actually Christopher Columbus, and he's come for the show. He wants to defend himself.
Okay.
So introduce yourself, Columbus. Hey, first of all, I just want to say that I'm not a bad man. I'm not bad at all, and I'm here to serve the people. Wait, you want to serve the people? What people? The Taino people.
Oh.
I. S- Wow, Natalie, got any questions for him about serving the people?
Yeah, I'd like to know how you're gonna, make up for almost eradicating us. You didn't, thankfully, as you can see, we're still here. But what are you gonna do now? I would say for our descendants and help help repair those wounds that you inflicted 500 some years ago at this point, or what are you gonna do to try to make reparations? I would say.
Unfortunately, I have no memory of that, of what happened when I was on Earth.
Fake news.
But wait a minute, you have no memory at all? No memory at all. But I spoke to Sanakori, and he says that he's willing to have me on the show once in a while. Not to defend myself, but to help the people, the Taino people. Well, what the hell?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, you said you're just gonna show up? You didn't say it about helping us in the future shows and stuff. I want to help. What do you think, Natalie? Should we have him in the future shows?
I mean, I guess he can help us in terms of providing some context and some historical facts and facts. See what he can remember, I guess, right? But he can help us with at least talking about, like you were saying before, the psychology of what people might have felt at that time, or what he and other people like him, his contemporaries, might have thought and thought was reasonable, right?
Well, like I said, I don't have memory, but I do have my old journals that we can review. Wow, that's interesting. You got the old journals. All right. Well, I guess we can use Columbus in our show. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't mind us reading his diaries. I mean,
All
the worst
right, man.
secrets are already out, right?
That's right. Well, if I did bad things, I would like to redeem myself here in Taino Funhouse podcast. Wow, that's interesting. All right, man. Well, oh wait, I see a portal just opened up. I think they're calling you. Um, and see what we'll invite you back. What do you think? Let's invite him back. What do you think?
Yeah, why not? We'll give him a chance if he wants to help us out.
Well, you know, Columbus, you're lucky because we're Taino. We're the buena gente. We're the good people. So the
Yes.
noble people. So you know, we won't use it against you totally. But we're gonna get upset once in a while. You know that, right?
Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand. All right, okay, that's good. As long as he understands, right? All right, it's the portal. Oh,
All
wait.
right.
Whoa, oh man, just went in the portal.
Oh, where did that
Yo, I
guy?
forgot to
That guy just
wait a
dropped right
minute.
in.
Wait, next time he shows up, we should ask him to bring some taino from the past, right?
Yeah. See what they have to say about any of it.
Yeah, let's get Hathaway. We'll get Hathaway to show up.
Oh, yes, my boy.
That's that's it. You know what? I have to talk to him about that. He can bring some of our heroes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
listen,
well,
Natalie. Yeah. What was that?
I was saying, yeah, we'll see what the real story. See if they can remember what actually happened, since he can't.
That's right, man. So listen, we're gonna wrap this up. All you people who just downloaded this show on YouTube, Taino Funhouse, thank you so much. And there was one more thing I wanted to ask, um, and I totally forgot. Can you believe that?
You like Columbus
Uh,
now too? You forget.
wow, what's going on here? Hey, I think I think it wore off. It wore on. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
right.
no, that's not good. That's not good. But all right, guys. Well, thank you. Leave your comments behind. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Taino Funhouse. Man, we got Scotland in the house,
Yeah,
and
beautiful,
you
sunny,
got.
tropical Scotland, as you can see.
There we go, man. There we go. So we'll be back on a weekly basis to talk Taino history. We already started 1492, and you know, once we pass those dreadful years, we're definitely going to talk about hope, right? Like how our ancestors survived, because we
Absolutely.
did survive. We did
We
survive,
did.
right?
Here we are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we're here, man. We're here.
Yeah.
We look different.
Mhm.
Many of us, many of us live in Scotland or New York City, but but we're still here, right?
Yep. We look different, we sound different, but we are still here. We're not dead. We're not extinct, or else we wouldn't be talking about this, would we?
There you go. Exactly. Thank you all. Thank you, Natalie, man. We got this, man. I'll see you
Yes.
soon.
Thank you. We'll be back. It's good to be back.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome. Hold on a second.